Hi, it's Charlie here at Stamford Bridge after Chelsea's 4-0 win over Brentford in the FA Cup fourth round. I'll be analysing the game and the goals in a minute and all the positives for Antonio Conte here at Stamford Bridge. First up now, let's look at the goal scorers. Willian opened the scoring in the 14th minute with his superb free kick before Pedro made it 2-0 with his goal in the 21st minute. Branislav Ivanovic, shortly after coming on as a sub in the second half, made it 3-0 with his goal in the 69th minute before Batshuayi scored a penalty 9 minutes from time to seal a comprehensive win over Brentford for Chelsea and of course book Chelsea's place in the fifth round of the FA Cup. Now let's look back at that game. I thought Brentford started the tie off pretty well. They really went for it at the beginning, and that is after off the back of the club having lost their last two games in the Championship. So they had a really good start to the game, but once Chelsea took the lead and of course scored that second goal, I felt like it was too much for Brentford to try and get back in the game. However, they did come back out after the break with a renewed sense of purpose. You saw that with the way they were really taking the game to Chelsea, but of course Ivanovic's goal I think really kind of settled the tie for Brentford. Another good display for Antonio Conte's side, a side that was much change from the one that won in the Premier League on the weekend. Now I want to look at some of the positives for Chelsea because there were many. I'm going to focus on Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Nathaniel Chalobah and Nathan Ake. Now first things first, Loftus-Cheek. What I noticed today was a change in his confidence levels from the way he played in the FA Cup win over Peterborough. Now in that game he had several chances to score, probably should have scored in that win over Peterborough. I felt that he was a little bit hesitant to go for goal in that game. Here today it was a different story. He constantly went forward and he had several chances to score. I think he rattled the crossbar in one of those chances, but he didn't look sort of scared or hesitant to go for goal today, and I think that shows you how far he's come under Conte and how much more confident he feels in his own abilities in this side. Now it's interesting because Conte was asked about Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Nathaniel Chalobah's futures at Chelsea in terms of will they be going on loan for the second half of the campaign, and Conte said that he wants Loftus-Cheek and Chalobah to stay at the club, and looking at this performance it's easy to see why. Chalobah, for example, if we look at his performance now, he was very, very comfortable in the centre of midfield alongside Cesc Fabregas. He mopped up loose balls. He put in a really assured performance, and I think that's why you've seen Conte insist on them to staying at the club for the second half of the season. I mean, I'd assume they will get game time more in this competition as opposed to the Premier League, but they are very, very good substitute choices for Conte as they look to wrap up the Premier League in the next couple of months. And I look now at Nathan Ake. He played his first game since coming back from his loan spell at Bournemouth, and he played in the left wing back role, the role that Marcos Alonso usually occupies. He looked good. I think he's been training obviously in that position, so he's been getting time to practice that role at Cobham during the training sessions, and he looked very, very good today. I think you're going to see him play more as the season progresses as well. So a lot of positives for Chelsea. A look as well at Batshuayi. He of course scored the penalty. I don't think it changes too much the impact he's going to be having in this Chelsea team, because Diego Costa is undoubtedly the first choice striker for Chelsea, and when Costa hasn't played for Chelsea, Conte has opted to have Eden Hazard as a false number 9. Batshuayi though is scoring whenever he does play, so that's obviously a really, really good positive for Conte. And Pedro's on the score sheet. He's now, I think, on 8 goals in all competitions for Chelsea. He's doing really, really well in this season, as are the likes of Willian and the whole team. So another really, really good win. Just a note now on Kurt Zouma as well, because he played in that 3-man defence today. against Brentford. Had another good showing, so it's good to see him back in the team and getting game time. Chelsea go into the 5th round draw now for the FA Cup, which will be taking place on Monday evening. Of course, they've got that big Premier League game away to Liverpool next week, which I'll be covering. And then they are at home to Arsenal. 2 huge games that Standard Sport will be covering. Head over to standard.co.uk now to see my match report from this win over Brentford, and to also see all the reaction from Antonio Conte and Dean Smith. I'm just going to switch the camera now so you can have a look at Chelsea warming down since we are here. And so this is a scene right now. So yeah, Chelsea are now warming down after that win, and the players will then be doing a mix of doing interviews with some of the media. I'm going to be now heading down to the press conference to listen to Antonio Conte, Dean Smith about their reactions from the game.